Happy Friday. Welcome. Okay. Welcome to Aligning with Your Design. Happy Friday. I believe we are live. Just giving it a second here to make sure. So if you are on, just let us know. And if you're watching the replay, give us a hashtag replay. Say hello. Let us know that you are here. Going to go ahead. Okay, we're in the Facebook group. If you are watching us elsewhere outside of the Success Zone Facebook group, we may or may not see your comments, so my apologies, but we will come back to them later if we miss them. So again, just say hello, let us know that you're here. And today we are talking about aligning with your design, aka your human design. So also want to preface quickly before I let you talk, Mara, that I've been teasing, right, this like amazing threesome between the two of us and Jamie for weeks. And I promise you that eventually you will get all three of us in one place at one time, and we're going to have amazing conversations. But Jamie is not able to join us due to a last minute family thing that came up. So we are going to continue to talk, and that is the brilliance of having three of us here, is that we can go, and we've aligned with people who align with our design that allow for that to easily flow and happen and not freak out. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit now, too. If you want to talk, you're just...
Thank you. No, yes, I missed you all last time. I think you all got a taste of what Jamie brings to the table. I had my own sick emergency, the nasty stomach flu that went around. So I'm glad to be back. But this is definitely a topic that is really near and dear to my heart and really ingrained in everything that I do. And Lori, I know it's ingrained in everything that you do, that we feel very, very strongly that, everything in your business, from, your marketing to just what you do, your offers and how you do it, the more it's aligned to you, and specifically and clearly to your zone of genius, like the easier it is to do it. All of it. To do what you do and even run your business. And it can be really tiny little tweaks. I know we're going to give some examples of kind of things that we've seen in our own experiences, and we've seen with clients, that even just the tiniest little shifts, down to words, down to little tiny tweaks in how you do things, can make huge differences.
Yeah, it's I think it's so crazy. And I will say, the concept of human design is something for me that I didn't really start diving into until like the last year, but it has like completely changed the way that I run my business. Now, I was familiar with, some of you might be familiar with the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, different behavioral kind of things that we've done in the past. Enneagram is a little bit closer, I think, to human design in the aspect of it's not like an algorithm-based thing necessarily, only it's taking into account, a little bit more of those personal things, but aligning your business, aligning your marketing, aligning the way that you show up with your own clients with your unique design is going to, like you said, it's going to make things easier and simple and blah, blah, blah. And that all sounds great, right? But why is that? It's because we all have unique qualities in us, right? You all have your own unique genius, and you do things in a certain way. And some things feel really normal and natural for some people, and some things feel really not normal and natural for others. And when you're going against what actually feels right for you, it's always going to feel like you're being forced. It's always going to feel like there's something off. And this is different than, the feeling of stretching the limits of your comfort zone. So I want to make that clear. And
Uh-oh, guys, we might have lost her. There might be some internet issues. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in, and hopefully she's going to come back here momentarily. But I think she was where she was going with things was, it's everyone has their own little nuances. Everyone is super unique in how you do things, how you think about things, kind of those natural little skill sets and talents that you bring to the table that may seem inconsequential, but are incredibly, incredibly important. And if you get in touch with even the little things and really tailor what it is that you do and how you do it to those little things, it actually makes life and your business and what you do so much easier. For example, like this is a bigger example. I think she's coming back in. We're gonna give her a second to come back in, and I'll let her finish her thoughts on that one. But little shifts in how I just ran across this with a client this week, in fact, how she ticks and how she functions. We went through her calendar and were able to like color code and time block, and the shift it has made in her productivity in the last 2 days blows my mind. I mean, she is blowing through client work, and she said, I have time and space in my day now where I didn't before. And what we did is we catered how we time blocked and when she did things and how she did them to, number one, her situation and her life, but then also, the times of day that she works and functions best, the times of day that she digests information the best. I mean, that is a big part of human design. You digest and process things at different times of the day better. And so we really dug deep into how she needed to function and all of that kind of fun stuff. And so the difference it's made in those 2 days, she's like, I'm almost caught up and I have free time during my day and I feel like a human. So little things, of course, that's me from an operational standpoint. Those are the things I'm going to focus on. Hoping Lori will be able to jump back in here. And okay, she's going to be back as soon as she can. Her data just dropped. So give her a moment, guys. You're going to be stuck with me solo here for a few more minutes. I do want to let her speak more to this one, though, but really aligning just your offers alone, what's included in your offers, how you deliver your offers, the client journey that you want to have is even colored by who you are. Here she is. She is back. I'm going to let her jump in and finish her thought. I rambled and I gave an tweaks that we just made with a client this week, based on how they function and how they tick and how we blocked her calendar and the times of day she digests information best and processes things best. And so we kind of super power packed those time periods. And the productivity she has had in the last 2 days, she's like, I'm almost caught up. She's like, I actually have free time and space during the day. She's like, I never thought it was possible. But just aligning your daily schedule into when and how you function best is gigantic. So I'm going to stop rambling because they've heard me long enough. And I'll let you continue making your point.
I don't even know what my point was, if I'm being totally transparent. And if you're just joining us, my data dropped. So I'm on my cell phone because I just going to give a little background because I think it just makes us all human. And most of you know I'm a digital nomad. So where we are right now, I'm operating on a Wi-Fi hotspot, which is terrible. So if you've seen some lives from me over the last month where it looks really terrible, that's why. So I've decided to use my phone data, which is great, and it just totally, completely cut out. Like totally stopped. So I'm back.
Lovely.
Lost my train of thought. We also
I
are
kind of
right
finished.
under a military base where they fly over planes all the time, so that's probably what cut off my data was some secret military mission. But I'm back.
I did sort of finish your thought before, so that's okay. I kind of knew where you were going with that one, so I sort of finished your thought
If
before.
not, someone does.
Yeah, but kind of the starting point with this of I kind of dived into a little bit kind of why you do this, but the starting point is using your design to really know you.
Mhm.
I mean, the better you know yourself, the better you can. Human design was game changing for me in how I make decisions. That age old saying, just trust your gut. Not everyone has a gut. I happen to have a gut feel. Lori, you don't. You do, but that's not actually how you're supposed to make decisions for yourself. Like your body will actually tell you before your mind even registers it what's right for you. And so now I use that to guide me. I mean, I'll make 5-figure investments in the drop of a hat. 2 seconds later, I go, holy, what did I just do? But they've been the best game-changing decisions I've ever made. Like they've turned out and it's the exact thing I needed to do at the exact time. It's just trusting that. So it's really knowing you, how you make decisions, when you can digest information. That's a fun little tidbit that human design tells you, kind of like what time of day and how you process and digest things. Like that's a fun little thing. The natural energies you bring, like why certain things are frustrating to you.
Mhm.
Um, why you feel like you always beat to your own drum and you can't really conform and stay consistent in anything. Well, you probably have one gate and not the other one that helps balance it out. Like there's so many little nuances in there. It's fabulous and fantastic. And the more information you have about yourself, the easier it is to function. First of all, just function. And then to make decisions and put things around you and design everything around you to be who you want to be and do exactly what it is you want to do. And I'm hoping she's not frozen again, but I feel like, ladies and gentlemen, she is frozen again. So we're going to hope that she comes back. She may come back on a Wi-Fi hotspot and look like a pixelated mess, but we're going to invite her back here in a few minutes. And she can chime in with some of this. So I want to move on a little bit to, I know you guys have heard us talk about human design, and it's really just a matter of using different tools to get to know yourself. I'm a fan of a lot of them. Human design just happened to be my chosen tool that gave me just this great depth of knowledge about myself. But we also talk a lot about being in your zone of genius. It's okay. I just continued to ramble.
Go ahead. Keep going. Because now I'm on my crappy Wi-Fi, so people probably won't actually be able to see or hear me anyway. So it's all good.
No, it's actually better. I pre-warned them that you were probably going to come back on your hotspot and you might look like a pixelated mess, but that we were going to welcome you back with open arms.
Okay, good.
They've already been warned. All good. You're actually clear today. But no, I was moving on to kind of how your human design and how knowing yourself that well actually lend to your zone of genius, like how they are connected.
Okay.
And so I'd love if you get, because I know you've got a lot, a lot to say about this subject.
Yes. Okay. So, trying to recompose myself, everybody. So, if I repeat anything that you just said, that's fine. You can cut me off. And you know what? If I cut out again, I'm sorry. But I will do my best to come talk to you all because I really want to. So, your zone of genius. We all have this unique zone of genius, and sometimes ask people, what's your zone of genius? And they're like, it's building websites or it's doing this. And like, it's really not that. There's certain aspects, yes, you might be really good at creating websites, but there's something deeper about that that is your unique zone of genius. And that when you're really truly connected to yourself and that, unique design that you have, that comes forth, and bringing that forth into your marketing, into your messaging, into your sales is a complete game changer. Because a lot of times you're saying that thing is your zone of genius, but in reality, it's not. It's not the thing that actually is. It's maybe your ability to connect with people in a certain way. It's your ability to help people bring information out of themselves, and when you're in that zone and the things that you're doing really all play into that, all of the things, getting more clients, creating content, all of it feels better and easier for you. But there's also the aspect of, yes, there's your zone of genius, but bringing that forth to the world, that's where human design really becomes so impactful. Because, for instance, Mara, I'm going to use you as an example here, but, Mara can speak, and she like can convert in a sales call like that. But you ask her to write content and she'll say, nope, that's not me, right? I know better to know that she can, but there's certain ways that it needs to actually happen for her in order for that genius to truly come out and to be brought forth into her marketing, so that she can not only just close in a sales call, but so that she can close through her content, through her messaging, through her emails, through her sales pages, because that's not going to be natural to her to come out. So for her, that might be just having a conversation with someone like me where I'm gathering her genius and then helping her to put it out into words, right? So that's one thing. One example of why, your zone of genius, getting to know it is one thing, but then how you bring that forth is a completely different thing. And your unique zone of genius, those things that are so, so brilliant about you, are the things that people want to invest in. Okay. It's not that you can help them make a website. It's not that you help them. I'm trying to I don't even know, think of something that someone said. It's not that you can build a sales funnel, right? Or that you help them make passive income. It's your unique ability to, I'll use the passive income example, right? Like, and I know somebody specifically, you might be listening, who this is about. That's not necessarily your zone of genius, but it's your zone of genius to help people take the ideas out of their head, and for you to quickly create something that for someone else is way out of their zone of genius. So you help take those ideas and turn them into magic for somebody who that's not natural for them. So it's just all about like really bringing that forth and being able to communicate that then in a way that conveys that to your audience. And for many of you, you're not really owning that zone of genius because something is not probably feeling aligned. You don't feel comfortable doing things. There's way more deep stuff that we do in terms of bringing that genius to the surface, but in terms of how you showcase it with your marketing, that comes back to your human design. And if you're not marketing things in a way that actually is aligned to you, you're not going to see conversions. You're not going to get the clients that you want. Or, maybe you're attracting people, but they're the wrong people because the way you're talking about your stuff isn't actually the thing that your people need to hear, because you can't get the words out in the way that really talks to them. So I don't know if that hopefully kind of conveys my message. I could go on for days about your zone of genius and your human design.
Yeah, well, that is part of your zone though, because Lori's superpower is, she's going to be humble here for a second, but I'm not going to let her. So like her superpower though is taking, and thankfully she's very open to working with people in different ways. So working with me in my design type and how I can talk to her about my zone of genius, can talk to her about what I do and who I work with and the passion behind what I do and my story and the whole thing. And her superpower is being able to pull out the true zone of genius and helping convert that into your marketing efforts and in your messaging and making it a cohesive part of your brand. So not just like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, Facebook content. Like you got to write better Facebook content. That's a part of it. But it's really
more
making sure brand messaging, and it's not just, hey, what's your brand voice? Okay, that's important. Like those are all the buzzwords you're going to hear, but it's so much a deeper level. Her superpower is really being able to pull that out. But it's like me talking about, I can review your business operations, and we can look at how to streamline them and what systems we can put in place, and it'll really make things run well for you. It's not my zone of genius. It's what I do, and it's it's part of how I do it. But my zone of genius is actually being able to see the big picture puzzle. I take the vision that a CEO gives me, what they want to have happen, their story, their dream, their overall mission, and what they want to do and who they want to serve. And I see the big operational puzzle. What do you have to put together to actually make that happen and have your clients have the journey and the experience and the revelations and the transformations that you want them to have? So while Lori's is pulling it out and putting it in your brand messaging, she could say, hey, yeah, I help you with your brand messaging.
But that's not going to actually, get that.
Not actually her zone. So hopefully you guys kind of hear the difference, but part of this is we're pulling it out of our design.
Yeah. Coming full circle there. We're pulling it out of our design. Exactly.
Right, because part of my design, so part of what helps me do what I do is, so I have a natural curiosity line. I think you have the same line, which is also what helps you do. We have a natural, I think it's 1156, the natural curiosity. So like, I love to dig deep into people's stories and hear what they have to say and all of that. And my mind works like a puzzle. So I can take that curiosity. I think my motivation is one. And so I'm also motivated by learning and being curious. So, I mean, curious is all up in my design. And when I do what I do, I am curious. I am invested in what you're doing. And then my mind works like a puzzle and can translate it back out. Yeah. You were talking about sales. I can convert in a sales call. My 4 line, I'm a natural networker, natural conversationalist. I'm natural, I crave building those relationships and having those conversations with people with my curiosity line, right? I'm really invested and I dig deep, but I also carry the natural channel of being able to match people with what they need, which translates into sales. So all of that combines together. And if I do my marketing right, and I've created a relationship with you, that's my superpower, brought you into my network, that's when you hear me. So by the time I talk to you, you're already mostly invested anyway. And then the rest of that natural energy comes in to be able to help match you with what exactly you need, whether that is me or someone else I know, because I'm a networker. I got a big network. This is what I do. So whether it's me or someone else, I'm going to match you with them. So do you see how it all kind of comes together? So my flow in that way is easy for me. I'm not sitting there super frustrated. But
I will say now, I'm going to interrupt you, Laura, because I think for some people you might be like, oh my God, that sounds like a horrible way to go about getting clients. And that's the thing. That's why your sales work for you, is because you found the way to capitalize on your design, what feels natural for you. So getting out the things that you need to get out are going to happen naturally, easily, because whether it's, you naturally network, but then knowing, okay, if I want to scale beyond just networking to get people into my business, then I need to have those, that genius team. I know we were talking about the concept of a genius team around me to help me scale, right? So that, okay, content, messaging, marketing, like that's not my zone of genius. But I know that there is a way for me to call in more people to convert clients that way if I had the person whose zone of genius that is, that can help bring my words out and then put them into my audience so that it's converting. So that's where when it comes to getting clients and marketing specifically, your zone of genius, and your unique human design are so important in how they pair together. Now, not just from the marketing perspective, but I know one of the other things that Jamie was going to touch on a little bit too. So we're gonna rehab this conversation in the future. But is how knowing your design also then helps you to better serve your clients. So once you've got the clients in, right, then you can better serve them, which also means by saying better serve, it means you get better results for them. They get better results. They get faster results because you know your true zone of genius. You know what's within your strengths, what's yours, what's not within that zone, so that you can just focus on the things that you can really help that person to do. And you also learn a little bit probably about human design in general and theirs and how you guys can work together.
Yeah. And I've built my main offer. It's what most everyone has to go through to work with me further, because that is like me all balled up in a offer and with a big old bow on it, because it's how I work best to pull out information, to gain that information so I can do what I do, but also matches what my clients need, what my dream clients and my ideal clients are craving. So I have matched how I work and the way that I do it to what they need. And I have further, one of your favorite subjects, not really, blocked my calendar until I taught her how to do it. I do it differently, but I've blocked my calendar because with my 4-line also comes people fatigue. So I've blocked my calendar so that I can take all of the important calls and interactions that I need to take, sales calls, networking calls, and then my client sessions. But I've structured my calendar to where I have the right breaks that I have to have to show back up at my next session as the best version of me. And so I do that unapologetically. They were like, can you meet then? Nope. Well, you look like you have time in your calendar. I don't. Because I'm not being mean. If I do that, I crash. I energetically crash. And now that I've gotten a hold on that, I'm good.
Yeah, and for me, you're right. I am resistant to time blocking, or I have been in the past. But that's just like I was, and we've talked about this, I think, on a past episode. I was totally resistant to using like a project management type software like ClickUp, which is ironic because I do project management consulting. But anyway, yes, had that resistance to that level of structure because I really like the free flowiness of being able to put things where I want and when I want. But I've also realized that for me, like sometimes just having a block of time that says admin day, that isn't going to work for me because you know what I do? I just say, okay, I don't have anything on my calendar, so I'm just going to do whatever I want. And that's great when that's what I need to do. But instead of saying just admin time, I'll say, okay, write, 3 pieces of content, schedule your content for the week. And I've literally scheduled my, time for meditation, for exercise. I mean, even like yesterday, I had a call with one of my friends. It was at the end of my day. I didn't have anything else after it. But I blocked the time for that because I knew that that was what I wanted to do during that time. And I have to be very specific with my time, even with my off time, if I want to block it into my calendar. Otherwise, I don't do it. I just work and work and work. So, yeah.
It's the power of being a generator. We just work and work and work and work. We actually have to put in boundaries and block our calendars with our walk time. Because I've got my walk time, I've got my exercise time, I've got my people free time. Don't talk to me
Mhm.
during this period of time. People won't hear from me for a while, even friends and family sometimes. I'm like, listen, I love you all, but I need space from
Mhm.
people in general. Thankfully, I have a husband that understands that. Um, but but like even for you, Lori, we touched on this the last time, and I won't go super deep. You're resistant to a project management software, but when we went through how to use it for you
Mhm.
and how you were thinking, and to actually kind of indulge your 1-3 profile a little bit, but also to set it up to where it felt easy, but it felt helpful
Mhm.
for you with your team was kind of the big
Mhm.
push for that, and the way you manage and work with your team that actually relieved pressure, like that actually worked with you, your design, and accomplished your goal with your team.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
So
it's all intertwined.
yeah, it all is, and the thing is that the sweet spot of finding what works for you happens when you really get in touch with that design, when you really get in touch with your intentions of how you want your business to look, and not just I want more money or I want more clients, because yes, that's part of it, but is the more you're doing the things that are right for you, the easier it's going to feel, the more money you make. And I'm just going to use an example for myself, and I've maybe used this one before. January, we were traveling. I was kind of having like some slow sales, and like one week I think I had made like 3,000 in sales, and I think I actually had messaged you. I'm like, I'm not sticking to my calendar and like meditating and doing the walks. I'm just like working through it, and I just felt really like not I didn't feel that ease and flow that I wanted in my schedule. So I wasn't making very much money. The next week, I actually did that. I opened up space and I adhered to my calendar and I allowed myself to go. Even when my work was happening, I actually worked for days from my yoga mat. In between meditating, I would go listen to or I'd respond to messages, I'd write some content, but literally did a $65,000 day from my yoga mat.
Mhm.
Not working really at all. Like I just got a message. In between meditating, I go to look at my messages, and I got a message from it was a past client actually. So like, are you available for this? Can we do this together? Yes. Okay. New contract. Another one. Hey, I'm interested in XYZ offer that you put out. Okay. It was just like literally came out of a meditation and I had these messages. That's how, when you are working in alignment with yourself and the way you want things to go, it makes it easier. And
Mhm.
yes, I'm not telling you don't need strategy and you don't need these things and you can just depend on your human design alone to do the heavy lifting for you. No, you still have to work. Like I had to build those client relationships, right? I still had to put out the content in order for people to respond to it and say they wanted to buy what I was putting out. But the point of that is when you are doing the things that are aligned for you, those things happen naturally. When you have the marketing in place, when you have the structure in your day, when you have the right team in place, and that's, I think, going to be a whole different episode because otherwise this one would last way too long. But Mara, that's a whole thing that she does is to help you, determine your needs according to your design for your team. And if you already have a team helping you to decide, are they the right people in the right places, doing the right things? And if not, what am I missing? Who do I need to fit that puzzle so that it all flows smoothly and feels really easy? And I'm going to tell you that $65,000 a day, one of those pieces was getting the right person in my corner to help me with some stuff. And it like was just an immediate like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I have this person. And it's just like that, and my energy completely shifted. And then I made
Yeah.
a shitload of sales.
Mhm. Yeah. It permeates everything. That's why you've got to start with knowing you. You don't have to know all of the other pieces that we just talked about. You're like, that sounds great. I mean, I know my design, or I don't even know my design, but like, how do you figure out all these nuances and how do you tweak it and how do you do it and all that? Okay, there's people to help. Shameless plug, Lori and I are here to help you. However, you don't
But
have to figure it out all by yourself, is the point.
yeah, you don't. And you shouldn't,
But,
honestly, because it will take you forever if you try to.
right. But you should know yourself. And
Mhm.
so if that is, hey, I am familiar with my human design, I'd love to shift these pieces and really, really step things up and up level in my business, great. If you're like, I've heard of human design, someone ran it at some point, I don't have a clue what it means. That's okay. You may or may not have done other assessments. You probably have some things you've learned over time and known about yourself. There are people that can help you understand you.
Mhm.
Start with learning you. Then we put together the pieces and we can do it together of what you need to surround yourself with, how you need to do what you do, how you need to market, how you need to sell, how you need to, sit on a yoga mat and have a $65,000 day. Like, we help put those pieces together. And I'm
Mhm.
going to tell you, it's a hell of a lot easier than spending months and months and months beating your head against the
Oh,
wall. Well, I
yeah.
tried this and my design said this, and then I tried this. Like, you're going to drive yourself bonkers trying to do it yourself.
Yeah. So, moral of the story, let us help you. But for real, I mean, that is why, like, this, we are really the dream team here, especially when all three of us are here, because we have Jamie who like really specializes in going deep into the individual human design and within your life, and getting to know yourself, so that you can then take that and go work with people more effectively, like Mara and myself as well. Whether you do that in tandem together or you do it separately, and really get that full picture of what is going to work for you in your business, in your life, with your team, all of it. And not a shameless plug, so I dropped the link in the comments.
Good.
I might do it again, but for the mastermind retreat, the CEO and Flow mastermind retreat that we're doing later this year in Bali, this is the whole purpose of this retreat, is because we want you to align with your design. We want you to be that CEO that's in flow and that everything feels easy and smooth and is going. And it happens when these things that we've been talking about today are in place. That's how it happens. So that is one other way that you can get this. But if you don't want to wait, of course, you can start working with any of us now.
If
Or
you
do it
are
on your
interested,
own.
yeah, if you are interested, let us know. We'll kind of fill you in on what's going to be included. But it really is going to be, it's kind of a deep dive mastermind and a great retreat all put together so that we dive into you. We dive into your business, we dive into your marketing and your messaging, and really help you put together the entire picture so that when every other CEO that pre-plans is in the fall planning for their next year, you come out of it with this amazing plan and you're going to step into 2025, well, end of 2024, but step into 2025 as a new person, as a new CEO, and you're armed with the right plan and the right pieces.
So that you can go out and make 2025 the year that you hit that multiple 6, 7 figure, whatever it is that you're going for. So that's, I mean, ultimately, because we're in business, right? Let's not hide the fact we're all here to make money. Yes, we want to help people, but we're all here to make money in business. And that's one of the pieces that comes from this. When you're in alignment, you make a shitload more, period. Like,
You have yoga mat days.
yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So anyway, yes, there is a wait list. I put the link in the comments in the Success Zone Facebook group. Anyway, if you're watching this elsewhere, feel free to message any of us about that. More details will be coming in the next few weeks. on the specifics, but it is going to be held in Bali, Indonesia, and it is going to be brilliant. So if you've never been to Bali, by the way, it's going to be magical. So.
Yeah. I can't wait.
I know we don't want to wait till October, but we're going to be there in October, and we'd love you to join us. So, anywho, I hope this has been really helpful. Again, aligning with your design is one more way to redefine entrepreneurship, because you're doing this for a reason, right? So we want to bring you back to your why and allow business to be easy. Do it your way, and you can redefine it and do it however the fuck you want, according to your design. On that note, happy Friday, everyone. Right? I don't know if you have anything to add, Merle, but otherwise.
No, you summed that up really well. Yeah. You summed that up really well. Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully you guys have a fabulous and safe weekend. And we look forward to seeing you here soon. I think it's in a couple weeks. We'll be back with some more great tidbits on how to redefine your entrepreneurial journey.
Absolutely. We'll see you then. Have a good weekend, and reach out to us if you want info on Bali.